shake your booties for black girl nerds.
Wow. Thank you so much for that film. I'm a horror buff, so I enjoyed it thoroughly. The last time I spoke to you on the carpet was for Get Out, and just on the verge of that movie. Now we're on the verge of another bigger movie. What was the time lapse in the time it took you to write this one?
This one, it probably took me about, all said and done, 6 months. From 4 months of plotting it out and 2 months of hardcore writing to get to that first draft.
There are so many intricacies of the story. When you are doing that initial draft, do you write it with those punctuation points at that moment for the audience, or is it a process where you go back and kind of insert those Easter eggs among the storyline?
Every draft, you put another layer of things in, and the key for me is to have as much fun as possible writing it. I have to write it like I'm watching my favorite movie that doesn't exist. The answer is both. I'm whatever comes to me, I'll put in, but then make sure you got to make it better and better and better and better.
The biggest kind of the issue I had with coming this morning was trying to figure out what to ask you without disclosing any of the points of the movie before the audience gets to see it. When I spoke to Lupita earlier, I asked her, how did you describe it to people without giving away anything? So how would you describe it without giving away any of the plot before people see it?
Well, I'd probably say this is, I'd probably give away less than the trailer gives away, by the way. If I was just coming to call, I'd be like, this is about trauma. It is about a woman who experienced a trauma as a child, and now it's come back to haunt her now that she has a family, and her trauma is bringing its family.
One of the striking elements of the film is we have this beautifully melanated cast who's illuminated so beautifully, even with the darkness. There, you can still see the light and how they're shown on the screen. How was the balance in keeping these characters remaining kind of light to the audience with the comedic points compared to the darkness of the story that they're telling?
Well, first of all, I had a brilliant cinematographer, Mike Giolakis, who has done some of my favorite films like It Follows. He did Split, Glass. We had extensive conversations about, one of the things about black skin is that, there's a beautiful effects that can come from it if we light it right. He, kudos to him. He did it right. We wanted to, I'm fortunate enough. I'm at a point in my career where, I can, push the boundaries of representation without being second guessed or something in the leads of my movies. So I'm the lucky guy who got to have the most beautiful family in film history in his movie. And work with all of that.
And lastly, with this film, is it creating a new lane for horror, or is this a new lane for horror, or is this something completely unique on its own, in your opinion?
I think that the movies that I make in the horror genre, which is my favorite, are an amalgamation of my dreams and my nightmares and all of my influences. So I think when you do that, when you bring it all together and boil it down into like a stew, inevitably you get something that is almost is recognizable but unrecognizable. So, it's just me.
I loved it. Thank you so much.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.